and welcome to Stock Market Today. It's Ali Corum and Ken Shreve here with a look at the market, and the rally is strengthening with chip stocks taking the lead today, Ken.
Yes, indeed. I looked in the top 10 percentage gainers in the Nasdaq 100 today. The three stocks that we're talking about are all in the top 10 best percentage gainers. So we'll take a look at Nvidia, which we increased our position on leaderboard today. Also, Broadcom, ticker AVGO, and Advanced Micro Devices, AMD.
All right, well, we will take a dip into the chips, but first, let's check out the major indexes. So the Nasdaq leading the gains today, up about 1.9%. The S&P 500 up 1.4%. The Dow up 1%, and the Russell 2000 up just shy of 1%, it looks like. So really seeing the rally strengthen here just when we thought, hey, we're starting to see some technical indicators indicate that we're potentially at overbought levels. Maybe we need to slow down. Well, not today.
No, this was just a great day for the Nasdaq. I think up 1.9% at last check. Volume pretty close to what we saw on Wednesday, so not exactly a bullish day of accumulation here, but still sizable percentage gain for the Nasdaq. Looks like volume on the New York Stock Exchange is going to be pretty far below what we saw on Wednesday. So not a whole lot of conviction behind the buying, but some of the stocks we're going to talk about today, there was pretty good volume. So.
Yes. And let's also take a look at the S&P 500 and Dow here. So the S&P above its 200-day line, already got above its 50-day, and the Dow, let's check in there. It's still holding above its 50-day line and trying to get up to its 200-day, Ken. Circling back to the Nasdaq here, we're now back above 14,000. Trying to get to those highs from earlier in the year. That seems kind of like the next stop, but it seems like even if we do take a pause from here, now we want to hold above 14,000, I guess, if, we're being really picky, but at least that 50-day, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we want to see some consolidation above the 50-day moving average. If the Nasdaq goes below 14,000 again, not a big deal. But eventually, if this uptrend continues to gain traction, obviously that test for the Nasdaq is going to be the 200-day moving average. Still has a ways to go to get there. But tell you what, we called the S&P follow-through day last week on Wednesday. We got follow-through day for the Nasdaq on Friday. So in terms of follow-through days and how they look, I mean, this one's working just fine. We haven't had any higher volume declines in the indexes yet, so things are looking good. And again, this is today. When the Nasdaq was rallying, we'd see Zoom Video and Peloton and DocuSign and all these stocks rallying powerfully off lows, and now we're just getting some good action in the semiconductor space, and I think that's pretty compelling.
Exactly. And one of the reminders that I was giving myself and saying on the show on the follow through day was, if you look at past strong markets, all of the leaders didn't break out on that follow through day. It was in the days and weeks afterwards. So if we can continue to see leading stocks setting up and breaking out, then I think that definitely helps add to the confidence here. And also going back to the follow through day, there were a lot of voices out there saying there's way too much negativity out there. You got inflation, a war happening, so on and so forth. We're for sure going to be heading back to the lows, but there's a reason why we have this system in place, and you don't want to dive in, head first, but jump in with both feet. But adding that exposure, starting to dip your toe in the water on the follow through day is critically important, even if you have a short-term rally, because a lot of gains can be made in a pretty short period of time, Ken.
Yeah, I mean, this could end up being a tradable rally. We've talked about this on IBD Live, and tradable rallies have a certain lifespan. And if it's not a tradable rally, it's the start of a possibly a new bull market. But yeah, market bottoms are put in when they're least expected. Remember, there was just a huge bottom put in all the way back in 2003, and that's when we were going after Saddam Saddam Hussein in Iraq and the Iraq invasion. That's when the new bull market started. So we've got another war going on right now, and a lot of negative sentiment. But look at what the market is doing. It's rallying here. So listen, the Nasdaq could get closer to that 200-day moving average and get turned away. That can happen, but I think right
Yeah.
now we just have to look for improved action in a lot of different industry groups and sectors. Really not seeing much signs of institutional selling in the indexes, so I think the uptrend is definitely intact.
Yeah, that's right. And we'll continue to take things day by day. But on a day like today, we really need to focus on chip stocks because they were leading this move higher today. So you have Nvidia really charging ahead, up almost 10%, some strong volume. Now, in the last week or so, several high volume moves to the upside in a row. We have that new and investor day that was very positive, a lot of bullish reaction to that in the last week. And it seems like it's full steam ahead, at least for now here for Nvidia.
Well, it's a $700 billion market cap company, and that the investor day on Tuesday, the CEO Jensen Huang was talking about this $1 trillion addressable market that he thinks the company can still tackle in data center, gaming, artificial intelligence, automotive. So I mean that's a pretty big number, and it just kind of reminded investors that hey, Nvidia may be a big company, but they do have such an extraordinary management team that is just executing flawlessly. And this was a no-brainer add to Leaderboard. It's been a long time holding. I mean, the first time we started buying Nvidia was back in April 2020. So it's been a long-term holding, but we trimmed the position when it was weakening, and I mean today was just a classic move. It's not a breakout from a base, it's not a breakout over a downtrend, but the fact that it was able to move above the highs earlier this week, and look at the volume today. I mean there have been some institutions clearly buying this stock over the past couple of weeks. You look on the daily chart and see all those big blue up days in heavy volume. That's a sign of institutional buying, and I think there was more of it today.
Yeah. But we also have to remind the audience how we are managing risk here with Leaderboard. So with the ad today, where shares closed some almost 16% above the 50-day line. Perhaps that calculation is a little bit different if you look at the 10-week line. So we'll just check in on that. It's even further above the 10-week line. So when you talk about sizing a position, yes, it is ideal to make sure that a stock isn't getting too far above that key level, whether you're looking on a daily or a weekly. But we looked at yesterday's low as our line in the sand for this ad.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's a chance. I mean, the Nasdaq could be down 1% or soon, and it's a volatile market and it's a headline-driven market. We like the look of this uptrend so far, but and this was just a quarter position as we brought it up to a three-quarter position on Leaderboard. But if the market starts to weaken, we're gonna manage this position. So we'll look at yesterday's low, and if it can hold above yesterday's low, great. If it weakens and takes out that low, it'd have to go a long way down to get there. But we would consider trimming the position back if our timing didn't work out right today. But I got to tell you, with the volume in Nvidia today, the close near highs, I mean, this looked like just another unequivocal day of institutional buying in the stock.
Yes, promising action, and it was far from alone. So let's also take a look at Broadcom, AVGO, actionable today as well, getting above that 615 area. If you draw the line across the resistance within this base here, can a move of about 4.5%. We didn't quite get above average volume here, but definitely higher than it was in the last couple of sessions.
Yeah, volume not as impressive here as it was with Nvidia, but I mean the daily chart can pretty much show you why this was a good opportunity, at least if you're looking for some chip exposure and you're light, you can start a little small position here, because again, it's not breaking out of a base here, but the close near highs, volume below average, but nicely higher than yesterday. And the fact that Broadcom was able to move above that 614.64 pivot, it broke out over highs earlier this week, and now it's firmly above that 600 level. So I thought today was just a perfect opportunity to start a very, very small position and let the market tell you if your timing was right. And if it continues to hold gains and move higher from here, you can slowly increase the position. So Broadcom looks pretty good too.
So a small position to you, you consider what percent of your portfolio?
Oh, like 2 or 3%. Some people may have it at 5%, but for me, it's going to be usually be between 2 and 3% as a just kind of a nibble position. I want to own this stock. I'm not sure my timing is going to be perfect here, but I'll buy and see how it goes. As opposed to starting a position at 5, 7.5, 10%. When you're top heavy and then the stock doesn't do what you're expecting, and then you're sitting on a sizable loss. So starting slow here makes sense, because again, it's not breaking out of a base, but it did move over some key resistance levels today, and so small position, 2 to 3%, something like
Mhm.
that.
All right, sounds good. And rounding out our look at the fabulous action in the fabless group is AMD Advanced Micro Devices. Getting above converging moving averages here, Ken, up almost 6%. We did get some slightly above average volume today. Now, this does appear to be the weaker of the three that we're looking at, but it's trying to turn a corner here and get above a nice round number at 120.
Exactly. And I was really looking at the volume here in advanced micro devices, because it was almost impressive as Nvidia's today. So that just seemed like there were, big buyers in the stock today. You're right. It has fallen more than Broadcom and Nvidia, but the fact that look at how Nvidia has tried to move above that 50-day moving average a couple times, went up to 132.96. I think that was back in last month in February. Then it rallied up to 124.61. It got turned away. And then the past 3 days, it was kind of bumping up against it, couldn't find it. And today it finally takes it out with some volume. So I thought it was, notable price action.
Exactly. Well, do you think it warrants a nibble buy here? Or if you're running a concentrated portfolio, seems like Broadcom and Nvidia are stronger choices. Not to mention, we had, Rambus, AOSL, ACLS, some of the other, maybe not fabulous, all of them, but this group who kind of have started to move. Now it looks like maybe we're seeing a second wave. Does AMD maybe need a little bit more time here to get you involved?
Well, yeah, I mean, so I have we have Rambus RMBS in the leaderboard model portfolio, along with Nvidia. But I think you're right. Nvidia and Broadcom are probably the two better opportunities at this point. But again, AMD moving above that 50-day moving average with some volume for people that have been wanting to own this stock and we're looking for a way in. Again, this is just a kind of a small little pilot position here to see if you can catch a move possibly up to 140 or wherever it decides to go. But the fact that there was good volume in the stock today and it finally moved above that 50-day moving
Mhm.
average, I thought it was key technical
Right.
action. Yep.
And Ken, I think very telling that with the big focus that we've had on cyclical stocks so far this year, the fact that we focused on three chip names today, I definitely think that says something.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's where the action in the market was today. We've kind of been going back between technology and the cyclicals. The fertilizer stocks certainly have been leading the market. We've been talking about them a lot, but they're so extended at this point. People that missed buying them, they wanna get in, but they're just a lot of these stocks are just so extended at this point. It's good to see some of these large cap chip names starting to join the party here.
All right. Well, we'll have to see if the party's a short one or a long rager. We'll have to see.
Okay.
Only time will tell. All right. Thanks, Ken, and thanks everyone for tuning in. We will, of course, be back with more tomorrow morning on IABD Live, where we will be joined by Joe Fahmy of Zor Capital. And no, he's a buddy of yours, Ken, and always has some great things to say. I know chips in the past has been an area when they're working that he's been interested in. So looking forward to getting his thoughts on that and so much more tomorrow.
We get some incredible investors on IBD Live every week. Joe is one, of course, David Ryan. I mean, the guests that we bring on are people with so much experience that have a, proven track record in the market. And Joe certainly, fits that bill. We all learn from each other. So it's just a great education every morning. And I'm sure Joe's going to have great insight as usual tomorrow.
Yeah. So be there or be square, everyone. Investors.com/IBD Live for all the details. We'll see you then and right back here tomorrow after the close to round out the week.